In this video, I want to talk about actually a comment that I received from a YouTube short video, okay? And I don't normally care about what people say in the comments, but I have a feeling that too many other people think like this, and that's why I'm making this video, okay? Because really it's just about mindset, and this person had a terrible mindset. So the YouTube short was basically talking about when trying to reach your financial goals, there's ways to go about finding more money just in your budget and your normal finances. Like there's a lot of different ways to do it. And it was pretty much just like, yeah, just work really, really hard to find extra money in your budget, in your finances, whether that means increasing your income, whether that means decreasing your expenses, or whether that means doing both at the same time, okay? And the one comment was like, hey, like this is actually pretty good advice, pretty helpful, thank you. But unfortunately, it's like only for the top 5% of people, like top 5% of earners. And I read that, I was like, excuse me? Like I don't talk about many complicated things on this channel, okay? But what I do talk about are the fundamentals in personal finances, like the absolute fundamentals. And it all just comes down to effort, okay? You got to try, and then you got to be consistent. So you got to try for a long time, okay? And the comment just kind of blew my mind. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, finding more money in your budget is not exclusive to the top 5%, okay? The top 5% aren't even budgeting. Like, they make too much money, they're not budgeting. The budgeting that I'm talking about is not for the top 5%, it's for everyone else, okay? And the reason why I think I can speak on this topic is I've been an accountant now for 10 years. I help people every single day with their own personal finances. My wife and I paid down $43,000 worth of debt in about 13 months, and now we have a $1 million net worth and counting, okay? So we've gone through the lows, we've gone through the highs, we've set financial goals, we've done the whole budgeting thing, okay? And for me, back in the day, budgeting really started about 10 years ago. And it wasn't, your traditional budgeting of, hey, let's open an app, open a spreadsheet. It was out of need because I had just made a complete doo-doo of myself, and I didn't even know how much money was in my bank account 10 years ago, okay? And again, I went to school for accounting, okay? It was so embarrassing. I was like, the person that I want to become is not the person that I'm being right now. Like, I was giving myself such a poor reflection of who I was versus who I actually wanted to be. And it was at that moment I was like, no, I need to start figuring stuff out. So it didn't start with the fancy schmancy spreadsheets, okay? It was, how do I budget? Like, how do I track my bank account? Like, I need to at least know to the nearest $1,000 how much money's in my bank account, right? And then it sort of escalated into, well, I should probably know if I'm making more money or less money each month, right, in my bank account. Like, that would be helpful. And then it's, well, I should probably know what expense categories the money's going into, right? And then it's like, well, what are my financial goals? I have a little extra money in my bank account growing every month. Like, how do I optimize the money that's growing in my bank account to reach a financial goal, right? So it's all just about being intentional with your finances. Like, at that time and as we were growing, and now, like, we're not a top 5%. Like, so the fact that people even think that's why I'm making this video, because too many just have limiting beliefs. Like, I've talked to other people, well, they're like, they have lower income, and their assumption is that, like, they're just always going to have lower income, and they just, like, deal with it. They accept it. It's like, what are we doing? You can't project where you are now into like 5-10 years from now. You can't always think of yourself as a low income person, because then you're never gonna win. You have to, like, keep trying to improve yourself. People make more income all the time. Like, they increase their income all the time, whether it's at their current job, providing more value to their department, their team, their company, whatever, whether it's changing jobs, okay? And a lot of times, in my opinion, that you get more money by actually changing jobs. I've worked at 4 different companies in the last 10 years, okay? And it was because there was no growth path at some of these, and I don't have time to just kind of wait around and get the 3% increase, okay? So this is a mindset that you could take as well, and it's not for the elite, right? It's just insane. Tracking your finances is for everyone. Everyone tracks something in their personal finances. You just need to figure out what your life goals are, what your financial goals are, and then reverse engineer a way to figure out what things do I need to be tracking in order to understand and reach my financial goal in a better way. And quite honestly, truly, the one reason why I make this content is because I want people to realize that they can win too. They can win in personal finances. Yes, I'm an accountant, but you don't have to be an accountant. I talk to people every single day that are not accountants. They're bad with money, and when they start not just working with me, because this isn't a plug to work with me, but like when they start being more intentional with their finances and they start actually looking at stuff in their finances, like everything changes for them. They're like, oh wow, like they just have this whole revelation about how everything's been going. Like, wow, I am not being intentional here. Like I thought XYZ was happening, but really like ABC has been happening, and I have to take full responsibility for this. And it's like, yeah, like once you start tracking and once you start looking at it, it's going to change everything for you. You're going to see things so differently, but everyone can do this, okay? Like I'm talking with retail workers that have made this change. I'm working with entrepreneurs that have gone through this change. I'm working with people in sales that have done this change. Like anyone and anything can figure this out. This isn't rocket science. It's hard in the beginning if you've never done it, right? Again, that's why I'm making these videos. I'm hoping that some of this will help you and you can realize that you can do this for yourself, and you don't need to continue on being stressed about, your finances and just being stuck. Like if you're stuck, you can change. Like don't accept that you're stuck. Okay. If I had accepted that I was stuck, I would still be making less than $50,000 a year. I'd still have tens of thousands of dollars of debt. We wouldn't live in the house that we live in now. Like there's all these things that sort of escalate as you keep progressing, and like being really super intense and focused in your finances isn't forever. Okay. So I'm not budgeting. It's sort of been like a pendulum swing for me, where it's like I started off like, again, I was just budgeting with my bank account, and then eventually over time it got to this really intense peak where I was like obsessed with budgeting and my finances and like knowing where every single penny was going. But the last couple of years, it hasn't really been like that. It's been a little more fluid. We've set up our finances, everything's sort of automated, and it's more of a higher level check like every single month. It kind of went back to the like, okay, here's the baseline of money in our bank account that we sort of keep it at. Did we go up or down that month? And if we went up, like we just invest more money into our financial goals. And if we went down, then we look into see like what happened. Were there just like a bunch of one-off purchases, or is there a recurring theme that's going to be happening? So it changes over time, and you don't have to, it's not going to be miserable forever, but you do have to put in the work. It's definitely not for just the 5%. If you're the person that wrote that comment, or if you think that, personal finances aren't for you and that you're never going to win in your personal finances, that mindset is on you, because I'm telling you that is not the case. You just have to start. You just have to rip off the Band-Aid, and you have to start, and you have to do it. Hopefully this was helpful for you. I'm uploading daily videos, so I will see you in the next one.